E te iwi, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora everybody, Che Wilson here from Te Pai Pai Waho, connecting to you tonight through a number of platforms as we carry on the kaupapa of WAIRUATANGA. And tonight, looking at whether you can feel the mauri or the wairua of a hui or a wānanga online. But not even a wānanga, just different kaupapa, whether you can feel it. So that's our kaupapa for tonight, but we'll just start up with things first. Maia maranga wakarangona te rangi e tū nei, maia maranga wakarangona te pape atako take nei. Mai are o ka tupu anuku, mai are o ka tupu arangi, e ue nei ki te pau o te pai pai wao, e tū nei. Turuturo iti waka maua kia tīna, hui e, tai kie. Tai kie kia tātou. Tēnei mi i atu ana, e tangi atu ana ki koutou o tira ki tātou katoa. E tangi ana ki o tātou mate, kia koe te tuakana e hape, e te pāpā e hare. Kōrua koutou, kōru mene atu ki te waro unanga, e unai te nuinga o te tangata, koutou ki koutou, o tātou tēnei, ko ngā mauetanga i o, e mi i nei, e tangi nei, kia ora katoa tātou. Kia ora everybody. As I said, Che Wilson here from Te Pai Pai Waho, connecting to you tonight through a number of platforms. But I just want to acknowledge two people that have passed. Two special people. My cousin Hape, and who was a fighter for the people and was all around the motu supporting kaupapa. So I want to acknowledge cousin Hape. Can't be there, I'm in semi-ISO. And also to my Uncle Harry. When I heard about you tonight, today, Uncle, I thought of all of the times that you and Auntie and the whānau, Jace and the whānau would come and visit Nanny Pippi next door, and all of those memories flooded in. So e moi kōrua, kōrua ki kōrua, koutou ki koutou. So kia ora no tātou, mindful that it's also International Women's Day. Ciao Lily. Lovely to see you, Lily. I'll connect with you again. But just wanted to acknowledge International Women's Day, and especially the women that influenced my life. Well, unfortunately, still got Mum here. So Mum and then my two teachers of everything I know in Te Ao Māori. Two of the four of them, my Auntie Joan and my Koiuta. And then I also want to acknowledge all my school teachers. Those women who tolerated me, who smacked me because I deserved it. And also my sisters, Missy and my baby, Hene, who continues to teach me and challenge me every single day. Ka te ake. Let's get into the kaupapa now. So engaging with and feeling the mauri, feeling the wairua online. And I wanted to share this because of an experience I had in the weekend where I was running a wānanga online, but also because there have been other times where I've experienced it, and I learned it pretty quickly in the first lockdown in 2020, where one of the whanaunga passed away, and it was one of the first online tangi poroporoaki I'd been to, and I sung after I did my mihi, and I realised that the vibration from my waiatatangi went through and hit straight at the heart of one of my whanaunga, one of the daughters. And Ariana, she tangied, and I heard her tangi, and I knew she felt it. Don't ask me how I knew, I could just feel it myself. And what that taught me is, of course, vibration can go through this. It's no different to watching a movie and believing that different things are real, or getting a fright when there's a scary bit. I'm one of these people who jumps at the best of times watching a movie. But it made me realize, well, of course, when you set the scene properly, and when you then invoke vibration and are clear on the rules of engagement for your hui or for your wānanga, as well as providing key exercises, then it's a recipe to work. Yes, it's not meeting in person. And there are a lot of people who are anti that, and some of them are just anti because they're too scared to try it. Others will have their own legitimate reasons as well. So set your rules, and your rules are always just some really simple things. Like if you're going to learn waiata, make sure that everyone's on mute. And though you can't feel everyone else singing, but it just creates a whole lot of chaos because of the timing. If you're all unmuted, and yes, Pepe, I'm going to talk about you soon. And so you've got to set those rules, and you'll always make sure that you've got somebody managing all of the mutes, because you're always going to get somebody, when they feel it, they unmute themselves so that they can then contribute to that feeling. But you need somebody to just be working on that and just mute them all, because though the intention's good from them, it just sounds terrible because everything's total, everything's out of beat, just a bit too slow, and because of that, because everything's total, then you can't get that synchronicity that's required, or that you get when you're in person. But set those rules, and then also set some intention, because I noticed today a lot of whakawhanaungatanga where people introduce themselves and all of that, it's really transactional. And so do some other activities which then help set some intention. And like I do a lot of whakataumaha and breathing exercises, and I do a few other things as well. But you've just got to work through and make sure that you can set some good intention. And when you've done that, you've got the basis for a good recipe to come out in the oven. I like to not only do my karakia with the right oro, but also I'll use waiata quite a lot, and I'll sing just to get people into the mood. And though they can't hear the collective, it's still good to have the waiata so that it links it links people, and they feel like they're sort of in a hui together. And as I said earlier, there have been a couple of tangi now where I've sung, and I know one that they've told me later, but also I've seen the reaction where people have said that they've felt it as if we were there in person. And all of this is leading me to when you do different activities, it's important to do no more than 2 hours, then have a break. And in the break, give enough time for people to exercise and to go outside and go to the river, go to the beach, go for a little bushwalk or just a little walk, and do an exercise while they're out there. Just set some homework for them, get them to do it. Because by doing that, they're engaging in something and they're connecting with the taiao, which then helps when they come back and feedback on it. because as everybody feeds back, then a lot of them will start to go, oh, yeah, I felt something similar to that, or, oh no, I didn't do that, so I might have to try that the next time. Because when you have your next break, then you get them to go and do something else. And if they're curious enough, they're going to try and do some of the things that they heard in the feedback. The other thing that's really important is as you go through your program is don't be anal enough to stick to the program. When you hear, when you feel, when you see different things happening online with the group that you're working with, change and pivot to whatever they share. And so I had an example of the wānanga that I was running in the weekend, and told them all to go out and go to the wai, go to the sea, go to the river, go to the stream, whatever. And then I got some feedback, and one of them shared a phenomenon that happened. And that phenomenon I know as taipārua, which is a special phenomenon associated with the Wanganui River, Tū Taiporoporo, and Aokehu. And I'd had this whole big stuff planned and did quite a lot of work on it. But as soon as I heard the experience from two of the people in the wānanga, I stopped and changed and then started asking everybody questions. And as I asked them questions, they started to unravel what had been seen by two of the people. And as they all started to unravel it, rather than me saying, oh, that's Tai Timu Tai Pārua, the Māripi tuatini of Aokehu, and that phenomenon that you saw is that. Instead, you ask them questions so that the whole group get to that same conclusion. And then as they're all talking, you're hearing them go, oh, far, which is pretty amazing. But it's amazing because, one, you only get to see those types of phenomenon once in a blue moon, and to have it while we're running a wānanga and then connect to it and then change the rest of the wānanga just to focus in on that. And then the next session is really just feedback on that as well, so that people are understanding everything that's happened and then how they then connect it to their own experiences when they all went to the wai, whether it was the beach, a stream or a river or whatever. But then it helps people to also break codes, and in breaking the codes, then understand the tupuna science, because the tupuna science is pretty amazing. But not only did we have science connected to this knowledge, we had story, we had drama, and we have art connected to it, so that we join everything together so that it's bundled up in one beautiful package, which comes in an art form. But then when you break the codes, you then get to understand, okay, so that means this means this means this. And it helps you to move from tū Taiporoporo, just the story that you tell the kids about being careful in certain parts of the river because of the undercurrents and the tows and all of that. But also, you then break it down by breaking the codes so that you can then share that with the adults. So as they tell the story and you create little ditties and all of those little things, you then are able to connect more dots so that you have a baby's version, a teenage version, an adult version, and then those versions for those will actually become the storytellers, so that they're able to do things at different levels and not lose people. So it's because of the 2020 experience that I had, and like I'd been running Zooms on and off for about probably 3 or 4 years, 3 years probably before COVID hit us. So I was semi-used to it anyway, and it started this tanga as well. But just mindful that if you set the platform, you can have a similar experience online to what you do in person. And you've got to be honest to yourself. If you're bloody boring, then find someone else to help you. Because the last thing you want is monotone. It's like watching a terrible PowerPoint when people read what's on the PowerPoint to you. In my case, whenever I see somebody do, they go, how bloody rude. I already know how to read. Talk to the kōrero. Don't just read it and assume we're all dumb. So, just check. I'm mindful that I can be boring too. So I always make sure that I join others in to share, to do other things, so that it's not just my voice as we go through that experience of feeling mauri and wairua while we're on online hui and online wānanga. So everybody, hope you've enjoyed International Women's Day. And yeah, there's so many that I really miss. Miss my auntie, miss my kuia, miss all of the others that have gone. And sending heaps of love to our family and Aitehi and Winiata. Nō reire me I kauatu ana ki koutou o tira ki tātou katoa I roto I tēnei pō. E rongo o kairia ke kirunga ai. Turuturua uiti whakamaua kia tīna, hui e tāiki e. Tāiki e kia tātou.